Good morning, grade 7 students. In this presentation, we're going to talk about our chapter about photosynthesis, the synthesis of organic matter by green plants. So let's start our journey in this chapter. So as you know, that the plant, they produce organic matter. What is this? How we can know this? So objectives in this presentation is to identify that green chlorophyll plants, they produce their organic matter from mineral one. We have to study the relation between photosynthesis and between the presence of the chlorophyll, carbon dioxide, and light. We have to study about the organic matter, known as elaborated sap, is elaborated in leaves and distributed to various organs of the plant through conducting muscles. So let's start step by step. What happens during photosynthesis? During photosynthesis, the plant or the green plants, to be more specific, they produce organic matter in the form of starch. So during photosynthesis, the plant, mainly green plants, they produce organic matter in the form of starch. So during photosynthesis, we have an important product. What do we call it? We call it starch. So how can we test the presence of starch? Presence of starch is tested by the help of a special test. This test is called the iodine test. Iodine test, if it's negative result, if we don't have iodine, an iodine test is done for the presence of starch. So if you don't have starch, it will give a brown orange color. The color doesn't change. Why? When we have starch, it will give dark blue color. So the first note that iodine test is done to identify the presence of starch. If we have starch, we call it a positive result, meaning that we will have dark blue color. While if we don't have starch, meaning that it's a negative result. So the color will remain brown orange color. So the dark blue color with iodine test, it detects the presence of starch. Pay attention to this note. Let's move now to this experiment. In this experiment, they use iodine water as a chemical reagent, it's a chemical substance that colors the starch blue. So after adding the iodine water solution to a potato, here we have dark blue color. Interpret the results in document A, in this document. So we use iodine, you see here iodine has brown orange color. So when we add it to the potato, it gives dark blue. What does this mean? This means that the potato contains starch. Why? Because it gives dark blue color with iodine water. Interpret. If you remember, interpret is analyze plus indication, or we can call it significance. So interpret, analyze plus significance or the indication. So let's start step by step. So after adding iodine water to potato, dark blue color appears on the potato. What does this indicate? This indicates the presence of starch in potatoes. So whenever we have dark blue color with iodine test, this means that we have starch. Now, what about fish? We add iodine water to fish. There is no dark blue color. No dark blue, meaning that there is no starch. So iodine test is done to identify the presence of starch. No dark blue, meaning that no starch. When we don't have dark blue color with iodine test, we call it negative result. So negative result with iodine, no dark blue. This indicates the absence of starch. So absence of dark blue color indicates the absence of starch in fish. So I will repeat it. When we have a positive result with the iodine test, meaning that we have starch. Negative result, meaning that we don't have starch. So when we did iodine test, when it gives dark blue color, meaning that there is starch. When it gives no dark blue, absence of dark blue, it stays brown or orange in color, meaning that there is no starch. Let's move to experiment B, the presence of light. We have two leaves. Leaf A exposed to light. So this leaf is exposed to sunlight. Leaf B is covered by a black cardboard. So this covering by the black cardboard, it's used to to remove, to block, or to prevent the sunlight from reaching the leaf. So 2 days later, the leaves are decolorized by immersing them in boiling alcohol. So immersing them in boiling alcohol, it will dissolve the chlorophyll. So the chlorophyll is going to be removed. So there is no color. The color of the leaf will be removed, and then we can detect the presence of starch easily when we put iodine test, if it gives dark blue color. So immersing them in hot alcohol or in boiling alcohol is used to remove the chlorophyll pigment. Pay attention to this. So interpret the results and document B. After adding iodine water to green leaf parts exposed to light, what do we have? The result here, we have dark blue color, while after adding it to the green leaf not exposed to the sunlight, there is no dark blue color. What does this indicate? This indicates that the starch is only produced by the green leaf when exposed to light. So light is important. This is the first element important for the process of photosynthesis. And the second part that is important, or the second element, is the presence of the green color of the leaf. Meaning that chlorophyll is important. So why were the leaves boiled in hot alcohol water bath? This is an important note for your quiz. It's used, the hot alcohol, it's used to dissolve the chlorophyll pigment. So chlorophyll would give the dark blue, would give the green color of the leaf. So we dissolve it and we add iodine test. So this iodine test will allow proper detection of the color with iodine. Since we don't have the green color is dissolved when we add it in the hot alcohol, and when we add dark blue color with the iodine test, we can detect it properly. So the role of the hot alcohol water bath, when we immerse it in a hot alcohol, we immerse it, meaning that we put it in hot alcohol and we remove it. The aim of this is to dissolve the chlorophyll, to get rid of the chlorophyll pigment. The chlorophyll, it gives the green color. So there is no green color. When we add iodine test, it gives clearly dark blue color if we have harsh. Okay, so let's move now to the presence of the chlorophyll. Document C. A green patch leaf shows green parts that are rich in chlorophyll, and in the periphery here we don't have green part without chlorophyll. When we add iodine water to the leaf after being exposed to sunlight for 24 hours, only dark blue color is observed in the middle where we have the green color, and in the periphery we don't have dark blue color, meaning that in the periphery there is no chlorophyll, meaning that chlorophyll is important. Let's interpret this experiment together. So after adding iodine water to green leaf parts that are rich in chlorophyll, so green parts are rich in chlorophyll. Here, I'm talking about the variable factor, rich in chlorophyll. And afterwards, I'm going to talk about poor or without chlorophyll. Dark blue color appears when we add the iodine water to the green leaf parts that are rich in chlorophyll. While after adding it to the white part, it's not green, so it's without chlorophyll, no chlorophyll. So here is the variable. Maybe I'm going to ask you a question in the exam. What is the variable factor between the leaves 1 and 2, or the leaves 1 and 2? Maybe I'm going to give you a leaf that is, for example, green, and other one that's not green. So the variable factor is the presence of the chlorophyll. So without chlorophyll, there is no dark blue color. What does this indicate? This indicates that starch is produced only in the green part of the leaf that is rich in chlorophyll. So we have till now two important elements for the process of photosynthesis, for the process of production of starch. So the plant produces its own food by a process called photosynthesis. What is this food? It's the starch. So let's move now to document D, the presence of carbon dioxide. In plant A, we have no carbon dioxide, while in plant B, we have carbon dioxide. after treating the leaves of A and B, A without carbon dioxide, it doesn't give a dark blue color with iodine, meaning that there is no starch. While in B, after treating it or after adding the iodine water solution, it gives the dark blue color. What does this mean? This means that it contains starch. So it applied the process of photosynthesis. So let's interpret this experiment as I already did. Interpret, let's analyze, plus adding the significance or the indication. This indicates that. So let's interpret. So after adding iodine water to green leaf taken from medium rich in carbon dioxide, which one that's rich in carbon dioxide? This one, 2, or B. So this one is rich in carbon dioxide. Dark blue color appears. While after adding it, it refers to iodine water. So the green leaf present in medium poor in carbon dioxide. So here I mentioned the variable factor. So during analysis and during interpret, which is analysis plus indication, we have to mention the variable factor. It's very important to mention the variable factor. If you didn't mention it, meaning that your answer is not complete 100%. So in the presence of carbon dioxide, we have darker blue color with iodine water, meaning that we have starch. And in the absence of carbon dioxide, or the medium is poor in carbon dioxide, there is no darker blue. We have yellow color. So what does this indicate? This indicates here that is the positive result. Dark blue color with iodine, it's a positive result. While yellow color with iodine test, it's a negative. So this indicates that starch is produced by the green plant only in the presence of carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide is very, very important for the process of photosynthesis. So till now, how many elements we have are important for the process of photosynthesis? We have 3 elements. First one, sunlight. Second, it's presence of the chlorophyll. 3, it's the presence of carbon dioxide. So as a conclusion, green plants that contain chlorophyll, they need light. They need carbon dioxide to undergo photosynthesis and produce oxygen and starch. So here we can say that oxygen and starch, they are produced. So the plant will produce oxygen, will release the oxygen gas. So oxygen and starch, we call them, they are the products. So these are the products. Oxygen and carbon dioxide, we call them the products. Oxygen and starch, they are the products. Let's move now to the equation. This document is showing that the green leaf is a factory of organic substances. It's responsible for synthesis of starch. It absorbs, the leaf absorbs CO2, sunlight, releases O2, and starch. Fruit sap, it's conducting process that move in upward direction from the roots up to the leaves. So let's move now to this equation. This is a very important equation. During photosynthesis, carbon dioxide and water, they are the reactants. So we call them the reactants of the equation. Carbon dioxide and water, they are called the reactants. In the quiz, I'm going to ask you the reactants in the photosynthesis reaction. They are called water, carbon dioxide. You have to know this. Water and carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is absorbed from the earth. The plant absorbs carbon dioxide. Water is absorbed from the soil. The plant absorbs them from the soil up to the roots and the stem to the leaves. So carbon dioxide and water, they are called the reactants. In the presence of sunlight, we have products that are oxygen and the starch. Oxygen and starch, they are the products of this reaction. So oxygen is released into air. Starch, it will form what's known by the elaborated sap that moves in all parts of the plant. Okay, so this will form the food for the plant. So I will repeat, during photosynthesis, carbon dioxide and water plus water, they are called the reactants. The reactants that react together to produce, we call them the product, oxygen and the starch. All of them in the presence of sunlight. So if you don't have carbon dioxide, like an example in document D, we don't have carbon dioxide, meaning that photosynthesis reaction is not complete because we don't have one of the reactants, which is carbon dioxide. So if we don't have sunlight, meaning that we don't have one of the most important factors. So we don't have light, there is no photosynthesis. It will not occur, and there is no production of starch. So the plant, green plants mainly, in order to perform the process of photosynthesis, they need carbon dioxide, they need water for sure, they need sunlight, and they need chlorophyll in order to produce oxygen and carbon dioxide, oxygen and starch, sorry. So oxygen and starch, we call them the products, while carbon dioxide and water, they are called the reactants. So these are the elements or the reactants and the products in the reaction of photosynthesis. So as a summary, I'm going to make a quick revision about all we have started today. So during photosynthesis, what will happen? The green plants, pay attention to the word green plants. Green plants, they produce organic matter. What is this organic matter? It's the starch. So produce organic matter in the form of starch. How can we detect the presence of starch? By the iodine test. If it gives dark blue color, meaning that you have starch. No dark blue, brown color, or yellow color, or orange color, meaning that there is no starch. This brown orange is called negative result, while dark blue, positive with iodine, is called positive result. So when we add iodine water, we have dark blue color, meaning that we have starch, like the case here in potatoes. When we add it to fish, there is no dark blue color, or the dark color remains the same brown or orange or yellow. This indicates the absence of starch. In the presence of light, there is photosynthesis, there is production of starch. There is no light, there is no photosynthesis, and no dark blue color, meaning that there is no starch. Why do we immerse the leaves in hot alcohol water bath? In order to dissolve the alcohol, to remove the color, the green color of the leaf, and then we add iodine solution in order to detect it properly, in order the colors not to mix with each other. The color of the iodine test, the blue, for example, with the green, will give another result, and maybe this will cause to, for example, confusion. So we have to immerse the leaf in hot alcohol water bath to remove the green color of the leaf, and then we can add for this iodine solution. If it gives dark blue color, meaning that we have starch. So also chlorophyll is important, since I said it should be green in color, and carbon dioxide is important since it's one of the reactants in this equation. So as a conclusion, the green plants, meaning that they contain chlorophyll, they need light, they need carbon dioxide, and they need light and carbon dioxide as well to undergo the process of photosynthesis to produce starch and oxygen. So as I said, oxygen and starch, they are called the products of the reaction. So oxygen and carbon dioxide, oxygen and starch, sorry, they are called the products. Okay, so as a conclusion here, the green leaf aids this plant as a factory of organic substances. So during photosynthesis, carbon dioxide plus water, they are called the reactants. Carbon dioxide is absorbed from the air, water is absorbed from the soil, they mix with each other, they react in the presence of light, which is very important to give oxygen gas, and the starch, which are the products of this reaction. Okay, guys, so here we